The power of music, spiritual force can shape an entire generation. You're looking at pictures of the rock band Journey, and it certainly put its stamp on our culture with hits like this one, we're hopefully going to hear, or going to at least get a smidgen of, Don't Stop Believin'. Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. Composer and keyboardist Jonathan Cain co-wrote that song and many of Journey's hits that we still love today. And today he's talking about his personal journey of faith, shaped in a huge part by a tragic childhood event. And he talks about it in his new book, Don't Stop Believin', the man, the band, and the song that inspired a generation. And Jonathan Cain joins me now. Welcome.
Thank you, Lauren. It's good to be here.
We tried to get a little snippet of, Don't Stop Believin'. Unfortunately, legalities as the way they are, you can't just, pull it off YouTube and put it on the air. It just doesn't happen that way.
Exactly.
But all of us know it so well that I'm singing it in my mind right now
there
anyway.
It is.
But I don't think there is a person on earth that really does not know that song. What inspired you to write that song?
My father, in my darkest days, probably, struggling in Hollywood, I called him to ask him if I should just give up the dream, come back to Chicago. And his advice was, don't stop believing. So I wrote it down in my notebook and didn't know what it meant, except that it was my war cry going forward. I ended up being in the band, the Babies, and then that led to being in Journey. And they were looking for one last song, and I looked in the back of my notebook. 4 years later, there it was. And I said, Steve Perry would sing this. So I wrote the chorus that night, brought it in, and the rest is history.
Wow.
So my dad got to see, his idea become a living thing, then in Chicago when I came back, and he always prophesied greatness for me, and he was so happy.
And your dad was a musician, too. He fiddled.
He played a little, on the guitar, but my grandfathers, both of them, were fillers, Appalachian fillers.
Wow.
And I still have I was actually bequeathed the great-grandfather fiddle from Russia, so I have it in my house.
What was it like being in the band Journey? Because, Journey is rock royalty, really.
Oh, we're still going strong.
Yeah.
We have a tour this year with Def Leppard. We're going to see about 3 million people. It's great. It's an honor, to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year. It's a legacy thing that the fans have voted you in. You represent an era of music. They have voted you. They have approved of these songs, this body of work, and it was just our season. It was our season. We had our 6-year, 8-year window where we were pretty great. And
you're still pretty great.
and that's you do the right things, and you're writing the right songs for the right time. You're in the right place with the right people, and that's kind of a God thing.
Totally. I want to go back to your childhood, because one of the things that you talk about and it shaped your childhood was the fire at our Lady of Angels Church, Our Lady of the Angels Church. I worked in Chicago, and I had heard about this fire in 1958, December 1st. 92 children died.
3 nuns.
In 3 nuns, but you survived.
I watched the whole thing in horror. I was on the first floor, 3rd grade. 4th through 8th graders were the ones in danger, and I couldn't believe it. Disbelief. We all had to grow up that day. We all had trauma. We all had shock. We had no therapy. We were whisked off to satellite schools. That next Monday, we had 2 days off, and we were back in school again, not allowed to talk about it, Wow. But still the investigators were coming in asking questions, about it. So I think when I read in the Bible that out of the ashes, God makes something beautiful, that's what he did with my life.
Your faith is really important to you. Your Christian faith is really important to you. You were also married to Pastor Paula White, who was on the President's Advisory Board. I suppose, was your faith always important to you, or was that sort of part of the journey?
Well, yeah, I sort of got offline somehow with God, and I lost my way with him. And maybe the fire pushed me away. I don't know. I was just kind of disappointed that next to the house of God something so horrible could happen, And yet my father covered me through all those years. And when I had my children, I realized that I had to lead them to the Lord. So that was my walk back to God. I'm going to baptize you in the name of Jesus. And all 3 of them were baptized in the Lutheran church. And I began asking the pastor questions, trying to heal myself, trying to get answers, just get closure about the fire, and still you know, it was still sort of lingering. You know, I didn't have, and I started writing this book, and I started seeing that God was always there. You know, He was always there. That we weren't abandoned that day, and that's what you need to hear, you know, from a pastor, and then you need to discover it for yourself, you know, and that's what happened with me writing this. That I realized that He cried there with us that day.
Wow. Well, the book is called Don't Stop Believin', The Man, the Band, and the Song That Inspired Generations. Jonathan Cain, thanks for being on A Spirited Debate. Also, please check out the podcast, Lighthouse Faith. We're going to talk about this more. Moving forward in truth and love, I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching.